Howdy folks, welcome to this episode of Vern's Misadventures. In this one we're going to create a development server for web development. We need a server that's local to us for developing PHP mainly because, well, you can't really render it without a server. And so we're going to be making a lamp stack. We're going to use OpenSUSE to do it. And we're going to do it with a virtual machine because, as I said, it's a development server. So there's really no need to have a whole computer set aside just for this when we can just fire it up and run it when we need to do some development work. There are other options for this, not the least of which is to use the WOMP server, and this will allow you to run a server that will handle your Apache, PHP, and MySQL within Windows. However, I think it would be more entertaining, educational, and perhaps give us more options to go ahead and do it with a virtual machine running the lamp stack, which would be Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. So let's see here. We're going to go to, if you haven't already got Leap, if you want to do this, you're going to have to first go to OpenSUSE.org and install Leap. Now, from the home page, you'll have the options for Tumbleweed or Leap. I'm not sure if you could do that with a rolling release on Tumbleweed, but I know for certain that you can do it with Leap. So what I would like to do is just use Leap for this machine. Anyway, I've already got Leap, but if you need it, you can go over here to OpenSUSE.org and click on Install Leap, and then you choose your DVD image that best suits your needs. I got the full image. It's 3.78 gigs. Anyway, but we're just going to save the ISO. We don't need to create any install media to do a virtual machine. So once you have your ISO that you're going to need, you can turn to using Virtualbox. Now, if you don't have Virtualbox installed, you'll have to go to, where do you get that at? Let's see, I believe it's virtualbox.org. So, yeah, virtualbox.org. And you'll download the latest VirtualBox and get that installed for yourself. You'll also have to do some other things. It's beyond the scope of this tutorial, so if you want to know how to install VirtualBox, there's plenty of tutorials for that. This will mainly be about doing the lamp stack through OpenSUSE. Now I'm going to follow a guide here on TecMint to kind of guide the steps of what to do here. The lamp stack comprises a Linux operating system, Apache web server, MySQL database management system, and PHP programming language. It's going to be using MariaDB as the database manager. So first thing we got to do is get OpenSUSE installed as a virtual machine. So let's work on that. So we're going to do a new machine. And I've already got my ISO downloaded. We don't need to worry about that. We'll just call this OpenSUSE Leap web server, and that auto-populated over here to Linux and OpenSUSE 64-bit. So we just go ahead and click next. I'm going to give this machine 8 gigs of RAM. You can give it more or less depending on what your complete system is. Just don't cripple your host. Next. Create a virtual hard disk. VDI is fine for me. Dynamically allocated will work out just fine. Now, as far as the size goes, I'm going to give it about 60 gigs. So I want to have plenty of room to put whatever web project I'm putting on there. I think that'll be more than enough. So we'll create. So now that it's created, we got to run through the settings. So let's see here. General. So that's good. Advanced. We can do the clipboard thing. I don't see why not. Do bidirectional, drag and drop. I've never been able to get drag and drop to really work, but the clipboard usually you can get that going. We don't need to worry about description or encryption, so moving to the next one. System. Alright, we got our 8 gigs of RAM. Processor. I will give this 4 processors. And let's see here. Extended features. I don't think I really need that. We'll go ahead and enable it. It won't hurt anything. Acceleration. We want to go ahead and have the VTX AMDV. And nested paging, so that's fine. On our display, we'll max out the memory on that. I want one monitor, and I want to enable 3D acceleration. If you try to enable 2D, you get an error, so we won't worry about that. VMSVGA, that's a new thing. Apparently VGA has been deprecated. So I'm not real sure which of these is the best. I know VMSVGA works, so we'll run with that. Storage, let's see, we got that figured out. Network is another thing we've got to mess with here. On the network, we're going to go to a bridged adapter. And reason being is we're going to want to be able to use an IP address to access it from another computer, namely our Windows computer here. We're going to want to be able to send files to it and use it as a development server. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then, okay, serial ports, blah, blah, we don't need that. USB, we're good. Shared folders, I'll go ahead and do a shared folder. I have a VM share. Click other here. It's on my spinner. And it's VM share. Select the folder. And we'll do that as an auto mount. And okay. Yeah, that should do it. That should do it. So we click OK. Now we just go ahead and select our virtual machine, click Start. Let it spin up. Okay, now we'll select our ISO. And so I have this already pointing to my Linux folder, my ISO folder. And we'll go OpenSUSE Leap and open. And now we can just start. From there, I go ahead and go full screen, I guess. And we'll just arrow down to installation. So this will work for a minute here. Alrighty, so yeah, you look through the agreement here. If there's anything you don't like, then I guess don't agree to it, but I always just click next. System has an active network connection. Yes. Alright, those are the ones we want, so we'll just leave those and we'll go next. So we have some choices here. We can do a desktop with KDE. Now you can choose to do a text mode interface. I'm going to just go ahead and do the desktop. So we'll do desktop with KDE. No, we'll do desktop with GNOME. And we'll do next. Now once you install Apache and PHP, MySQL, once you install those three things, you've got a server anyway. The only difference is you've got an easier way to control it and use it without having to worry about everything. Let's just go ahead and go next. I am in Central US, so we just select Central. And let's go. That's good. Next. Full name. It's not a very difficult password, but it's going to be okay. They will probably complain. Yeah, we're going to use this password. Alright, so it says what we're going to do. And at this point, we'll just click install. So we've got about 2,100 packages plus to install yet by the time I finish this sentence, and so this will be a minute. Alright, so that's installed. We can reboot. We don't actually want to reboot it though. We want to shut it down. And to do that, we will come down here to View, come out of full screen mode, and we will just do this and power off the machine. Okay. So at that point, let's start. Now I'll boot from hard drive. Then in devices, optical drive, remove disk from virtual drive. There, that's done. Go ahead and toggle full screen again. So I guess we could go ahead and get our updates installed. Get this thing all ready to go so that we don't have all these issues going on when we're trying to get it working. So let's do that. when we install our updates, we may find that it works better with the VirtualBox as well. Install the updates. Okay, now it says it's ready to go. So let's go to Yast. Yep. Put in our password to use Yast. Alright, and then let's see here, software management. And then we will search for VirtualBox. Search VirtualBox Guest KMP default. I think that's all we need right there. We may need the develop. Okay, here's Guest Edition. We don't need to install all that. I guess we don't need that. So, alright, let's accept. We get those installed and we'll see what that does for us. Alright, we'll finish. And then we'll close this and we'll reboot. Restart. If this doesn't work, then what we're going to do is we're going to use the controls here under machine or devices, one of those, and we're going to insert the Guest Edition CD and run it that way. So let's do it that way, I guess. Since that didn't work. Machine. Nah, it wasn't machine. I think it's going to be devices. Here we go. Devices. Insert Guest Editions. Run it. Yes. Ta-da! Cool. Alright, virtual will not be replaced until the system's restarted. Press return to close this window. So there's that. Restart, I guess. Here's our terminal. We'll add that to favorites. And we'll go ahead and open it. Yeah. So here you go. After you install your guest editions, you'll want to run this command to add your user to the group that can use the VirtualBox editions. So let's see, we'll just paste that. And so we're going to do sudo usermod ag. So in other words, we're going to add to the group VirtualboxSF, and we're going to add, then we're going to do that to duverne. And we'll put in our password. So with that done, should be able to reboot the system again. I wish I had done that before I rebooted the last time. But that will enable all of our copy-paste between the host and the guest. Alright, so we're rebooted, and let's see. We'll just do a quick test here. So we'll come out of full screen on the virtual machine. Yeah, let's see here. Just want, I can use Word. It's available. And so just to demonstrate copy paste, we'll do sudo nano tilde /.bash or C. Okay, good. So that's just something we can do. And then we do that, and then we'll copy. Now that's Word in Windows right there. Minimize that. Now we're back in the virtual machine. And we will open the terminal. Let's see if we can paste that. Yeah, it worked. How about that? So they're very good. We're all set up to be able to do easily copy from the guide to the virtual machine. to do our installation, so I don't have to type everything. Alright, copy paste works. Now we'll go over here. Yeah, we can just do full screen there. Okay, so the next thing we'll do, I'm going to paste. Well, let's see here. Package, yes. Alright, that's done. Let's go ahead and have a look at it. Let's go edit, preferences, go to colors, and unclick that. Go to white on black, I think. And then we'll close that. Cool. So the next thing to do here, once Apache 2 is installed, you can start the service, then enable it to auto start at boot time and verify the service using the following commands. So we're going to do sudo system control start, enable, and status. So copy here, we'll paste, we'll arrow back over here, enable. Alright, and then finally we'll do the status. Okay, so looking up here, we got loaded, enabled, active running, total requests, current traffic, starting the Apache web server, started the Apache web server. Alright, cool. So with that done, let's see what's next on the guide, huh? So let's just see about all this. We'll copy that, and then we will minimize, and we will paste. Alright, so this is just going to put Apache is running fine, and we're going to save it into server www.htdocs index html. So, okay, there's that. Let's try this. Localhost. And there we go. So now when you run localhost, you see that you get Apache 2 is running fine on OpenSUSE Leap. Okay. So this may or may not be necessary or even work, but let's go ahead and try it. And copy. And then we go to minimize this, paste, sudo firewall permanent add port 80 TCP. So then we go back to this yet again. Sudo firewall command permanent add port 443. Copy, minimize. Success. Okay, then we go back over here. And we do the last one. Sudo firewall command reload. Copy. Minimize that and push that in. Paste and enter. Success. Then open a browser and navigate to localhost or server IP. The contents of the created web page should be shown as displayed as shown in this screenshot, right? So there's two ways we could do this. If we could just look up the server's IP address, which of course is our virtual machine. So that would be kind of cool to do. So I'm just going to drag this to the other screen out of the way for right now. And we'll just do an ifconfig and capture this again. IPAS. Here we are. And so if we look at here, we go for Ethernet 0. Okay, so we got 22. 192.168.0.22. So we copy, right? Then we go back over here. So remember now, this particular, I know we're going all over the place. This particular browser window for Firefox is actually Windows. Okay, this is Windows running here. And what we can do is just paste that IP address in there. And there you go. So now we can access our server from outside of our server. How about that? And we see that it is running fine on OpenSUSE Leap. Nice. So where were we before? Here we were. Alright, so that works. And then now we can go ahead and get busy installing the Maria database. Alright, copy. So yeah, with that, we move this back out of the way. Paste. Enter. Yes. Alright, update notification were received. View the notifications now, yes or no. Yeah, let's see what the messages were. I think we probably just put Q to quit this. Right. So there's our message. We got that done. So at this point, we're going to start the MariaDB service for the first time, for the time being, then enable it to auto start at boot time. Check see if it's up and running as follow. So there we go. Sudo system control start MariaDB. Click copy. And move this off to the side. I'll paste. Okay, that's done. Next line, we're going to enable it so it'll start automatically. So copy, paste, okay, that's done. Back to the browser, system control status MariaDB. So copy that, move this out the way, paste. And enter. So we got all this fun stuff here. Let's have a look at it here. So create, and we run. This is the status. It shows to be active, running. Status, taking your SQL requests now. How about that? And then we'll come back over here to the browser, see what they think the next step ought to be. After starting it, next we need to secure it. This can be done by running security script, which comes with MariaDB package as shown. So sudo MySQL secure installation. Copy. Once the script is invoked, carefully read the description of each step. You should set a strong root user password. Remove anonymous users. Disable remote root access. Remove the test database and access to it. And finally, reload privileges table. And we'll move this off to the side. So let's just go ahead and paste that. In order to log into MariaDB to secure it, we'll need the current password for the root user. You just installed MariaDB and you haven't set the root password yet, the password will be blank. So you just press enter here. So the current password is blank. Setting your root password, nobody can log into the DB. Okay, and so we'll put set root password, yes. All right. MariaDB installation has an anonymous user, allowing anyone to log into MariaDB without having to have a user account created for them. This is intended only for testing and to make the installation go a bit smoother. You should remove them before moving into a production environment. Remove anonymous users? Yes. Normally, root should only be allowed to connect from the local host. This ensures that someone cannot guess at the root password from the network. Disallow root login remotely? Yes. By default, MariaDB comes with a database named test that anyone can access. This is also intended for testing and should be removed before moving into a production environment. Remove test database and access to it. So yes. Let's see. Reloading the privilege to ensure all changes made so far will take effect immediately. Reload privilege table is yes. Thanks for using MariaDB. Awesome. So the next thing. Let's have a look at the guide here. So the next thing is to enable. We're going to install PHP and PHP modules. PHP Hypertext Prepot Processor is a free and open source, popular, platform independent, general purpose scripting language especially suited to web development. PHP is compatible with almost all, if not most, web server software out there and supports many database systems, including MySQL, MariaDB. To install PHP along with needed modules, run the following command. Alright, so as you can see here, there's a slider here. So you got to make sure we select all of this, not just the part you can see. So here we go. And copy. So we'll move this over to here again, and we will select and paste. The following two packages are suggested, but will not be installed. So I think at this point we'll go ahead and copy that. And at this point we'll just go yes. And so we can go ahead and install those other two by doing sudo zipper in. That's short for install, and then we'll just paste. And yes. Alright, next two things to do is just enable PHP module and restart Apache web server to affect the latest changes as shown. So we'll run these two commands here. Copy, drag this up, and paste there. Alright, no argument there. That's done. Next thing, sudo system control restart Apache 2. Copy. And paste there too. Enter. So that's done. Now verify PHP information by creating a PHP test file under the document root directory, which should pick the PHP configuration details. So we're going to echo this short little PHP script right here. And we're going to sudo t, and we're going to put it in sudo t serve info PHP. Okay, so let's copy all this. Copy, and let's see, this side and paste. Enter. So at this point, we could use the one in here. So now this is Firefox on the actual server itself. And to do that, we could just go / localhost, and we'll let that autocomplete. And that gives you that information. So it tells you your system, Apache, disable, blah blah, server API. Definitely shows that PHP is running. So that that gets the information from within. From without, we would go back to our browser. This is our Windows. This is Firefox on Windows. And we go there, and then go /info.php. And same thing, only with external access. So if we go back to install LAMP, now we can install and configure PHP MyAdmin, which is a free and popular web-based tool for MySQL administration. PHP MyAdmin enables you to create, alter, drop, delete, import, and export MySQL database tables. It is also used to run MySQL queries, optimize, repair, check tables, change collation, and execute many other database management commands. Nice. So we will get that installed. We'll move that over there, and then we'll come back over here and paste. Enter. Yes. Next thing to do. Now go to your web browser and enter localhost PHP MyAdmin. Okay. We could do it that way, or we could probably do it this way. Let's see. Man, it might have done something wrong there. Let's double check. Oh, PHP localhost PHP MyAdmin right there. Alright, let's have a look. Copy. And let's see what we did there. Ah, there we go. Username and password. Enter your database root user login credentials and click Go. Alright. So let's just see if that works. Nice. Well, let's see if root. Oh yeah. Look at that. It's like the real thing. That's all. In this tutorial, we've explained you how to install a LAMP stack with Apache, MariaDB, PHP MyAdmin on OpenSUSE server or desktop editions. Facing any issues, do ask your questions via comment. Well, there we go. So we have it set up. So yeah, we minimize that. So we've done the setup here. That's all done. A couple of notes I would like to take. Server htdocs. Let's copy. And then we'll go to a text editor right here. And then we can just paste that. And we will save this in our documents. We'll save it as, we'll call that our server public HTML address. Save. And so now if we ever want to know that, go on our documents, and there you go. And it is serve www.htdocs. Alright, well, we've got our server all set up. A couple of quick things I wanted to mention there. Now, the reason I saved that pathway was because I may not get around to doing some developmental work with it right away or whatever. It may be a while before I get to it. Might do a little bit, come back 6 months later, do a little bit more. And odds are good that I'll forget the path to where I can put my files to test them on my test server. So that's why I did that. That is why I did that little text file that tells me the path to where I can put my files, which would be your public HTML folder, basically. If you had a server, or if you had a hosting account, you would put your files in your public HTML. So that's why I called it server public HTML address. But this is the pathway, and that way I'll know where to put my files and or where to find my files that are already there. Okay, and then one other little thing I did to help myself out in case I forget things. I went ahead and bookmarked. Now it just shows localhost right here. Of course, the full address is http://localhost, right? And then I customized my index page a little bit. So I went ahead and did that so that I would remember where I would find that when I would test my pages or whatnot. And of course, any index file that I replace this one with would come up when I click on this server homepage. PHP info, I also bookmarked that. Like I say, it's really easy to add your bookmarks in Firefox. If you're going to put them on there, first of all, you got to right click on the top and then make sure that you have menu bar and bookmarks toolbar. Now the menu bar is actually these tools up here, but the bookmarks toolbar is what you care about if you're going to make it simple to use. And so then you can just drag it right over here like so. And then if you wanted to give it a different name, you just go to properties, and then where it says PHP info, you could say, what is this? Right, and then save it. And now it says, what is this? And then, of course, once you have duplicates, you can get rid of that by simply deleting. But there you go. And then I got my PHP my admin. It's case sensitive, okay? So just remember to camel case it, which means in programming that you're going to start with a small letter, the lowercase letter, right? And then every word following the first word will be capitalized. The first letter of each word is capitalized. So it's PHP my admin, so my and admin are capitalized. And so there you go. So now if I should do something else and forget to come back to this or whatever, I'll remember a few of my simple things here where I can find and test and all that. So just a couple things I thought of that might make life easier down the road when I've had time to forget. So with that, I'm going to leave it there. We've got it up and running, and we're ready to do some development work. It's going to be great. I want to thank you for watching. I'd like to invite you to subscribe if you haven't, and I want to thank you for being a subscriber if you already have. Hey, with that, y'all take care.